I ask you also what the concept of women's empowerment means to you personally.
To me personally, taking decisions. Mostly taking my own decisions as much as I can, and what else? Trying to, when I decide, and as we just saw in the film, sometimes maybe they are not. In hindsight, sometimes I feel that they haven't been the right decisions, but then trying to have the resilience and the mindset to accept those decisions, even if they've been wrong, to accept the responsibility for those. I think that's one step, I think.
And
being independent a little bit.
Yeah.
As far more in the decision making, I think. If you can decide for yourself what you want to do. Sometimes not always the right decision, but having the, what would I say, the courage, and not the courage, also the responsibility of being responsible for your own decisions, not just blaming yourself sometimes for the wrong decisions you make. You have made wrong decisions like everybody else.
So, do you regard yourself as empowered?
Relatively,
Yeah.
yes. When you look at a lot of the, when I look at many other women who are not, so-called modern women who are not, and I feel that I am, in certain senses, quite empowered. I wish, I had. Again, there are some things that I have to do because of the cultural setting, because of the family setting, that sometimes pulls me back, and I may have regrets for that. But I think, relatively speaking, I am more than the average person. I am.
And when you say women that aren't empowered, who do you have in mind, and how do you feel that they're not empowered?
Where most of the women in Bangladesh are, many of the women, I would say, are empowered in the sense that are not empowered in the sense that religion, culture holds them back a lot. They have to listen to they are pushed into doing what maybe they don't want to do, but because they think that what culture or family norms pushes them into these situations, and they have to bear with a lot of that. Education is just one of the things that could be a tool to overcoming all that, and most of the women lack that.
Yeah.
Many women lack that, and I think that would be a very powerful tool. And we are, of course, even in the case of religion, I'm in the group that's studying religion, if religion can be empowering at all or not. And we are still, grappling with that. And I think that if a woman can take religious decisions herself, and not listen to the man who's telling her that this is what religion is, I think that itself can be empowering. Because in Bangladeshi culture, I don't know whether you've been aware or not, religion plays a very important role.
Right.
And it's always dictated mostly by men.
Right.
That what is religion. And she's kept back because of so-called the demands of religion. Is what keeps her back behind.
Yeah.
So if she can decide for herself and not listen to the mullah or the man in the family, and find out for herself what is acceptable or not, I think that would be empowering in some sense.
And for those who mentioned that as an old feminist, she was having trouble reconciling the fact that there might be some aspects of Islam that were empowering, or that women were negotiating as empowering. Do you feel similarly or differently?
I'm not a text expert.
Yeah.
And I feel, and that is the message that I always give my students and everyone, that the text is written in a language that is not our own, and we all get it through translations, and every translation is an interpretation. So even if the mullah says that this is what it means, it can be only his interpretation, just as mine is only my interpretation. I never tell my students that this is it, and they have to decide what they have to do.
Yeah.
So at least give the options to them, that this is the text, and these are the different ways that you can interpret yourself, or come to terms, because most of it, I think, people can answer most of the questions themselves if they just use their common sense a little bit. That these are not very very difficult questions to grapple with, and people, I think the people are scared to take a decision, because as far as religion is concerned, because it's in a different language, we don't understand it. People tend to go to so-called religious authorities, and that is where most of these authorities are men. And it almost, society almost sort of makes it binding that you receive, that you listen to those voices, rather than sometimes what your conscience tells that is the right thing.
Thanks.